name's Bev Ferris and I'm the editor of the Business Travel magazine. And I'm here today with Gary Dobbins from Diversity Travel. Hi, Gary.
Hi, Bev. You okay?
I'm very well, thank you. I understand that you should be somewhere a bit hotter right now.
Yes, we were supposed to be in Turkey still. Unfortunately, we got brought back early by Jet2 due to the COVID situation, which seems to be affecting everybody, as we can all imagine. So yeah, it is what it is.
You're now in quarantine, I guess.
Yes, so we're doing 2 weeks quarantine again with a 3-year-old as being very challenging. My wife's finding it difficult. She's actually quite jealous that I'm working, which is very rare. So, but yes, very difficult times.
Oh, well, congratulations. So just to explain, Gary was the winner of the Account Manager of the Year in the TMC category and this year's Business Travel People Awards. So congratulations to you, Gary.
Thank you very much.
Where were you when you watched the awards and found out that you were the winner?
Right here. Sitting in my spare bedroom, living the dream. But yeah, I was very excited. I had my my team on rooting me on while they were logged in as well, so that was all nice, getting messages and best wishes. So that was very very nice.
Oh, fantastic! And did you celebrate that evening with your wife?
I did. My boss was very kind and let me have a few early beers, and Chris Airy, the CEO, kind of messaged and said, you know, congratulations, have an early day and enjoy yourself. And then that night when I told my wife, the first thing she says, what do you get for that? And I was like, well, nothing. I get it, well done. And she was like, all right, well, I'll make you a nice dinner. So that was nice.
Oh, fantastic. Have you got your you say you haven't got anything, you've got your trophy, of course, which I hope you've got.
Yes, yeah, so I've had a picture of it sent to me from the office, the guys in the office in Manchester, but I haven't managed to get up there as yet due to travel restrictions. But yeah, I'll absolutely pick that up next time I go up there.
So whereabouts are you, and whereabouts are the diversity offices?
So we've got offices in Manchester as the head office, and then we've also got primarily visa and sales team based in the London office in Chancery Lane. So I'm based in the London office, live in Stansted, and the bulk of the team are up in Manchester.
Oh, so I guess hopefully quite soon you'll be able to get to, or hopefully soon you'll get to get with your rest of your colleagues and have a proper celebration in person.
I hope so. We were arranging to go into London to the London office and have a celebration with the sales team, but that sadly got cancelled as well with the change of the restrictions as well. So, but yeah, hopefully soon when all this slowly starts to die down. I think London will be sooner than Manchester by the sounds of things, but who knows?
Yeah, tough times. So so the judges were very impressed with your nomination. You had some great testimonials from your clients, and there was clear evidence of you being a real team player. And I think you, as far as I know, you've come from more of a corporate world into diversity travel, which obviously specialises in charities and universities and the like. So what do you think you brought to the table when you joined the company?
So I think the big thing for me coming across, I personally had a viewpoint on wanting to come across the diversity. I felt what they stood for and what I imagined they would be doing was very different to the corporate element. And there's an element of changing the way that you think, but not to too much of a degree, because I think the service element within the corporate world is very, very good and at a high standard, just based on, you don't get an awful lot of leniency in the corporate world. Whereas, thankfully, in the charity and academic sector, just by the very nature of the people that work in those sectors, you get a lot more collaboration and you get an awful lot more people that are willing to work to get to where we both want to get to, which I'm very thankful for. And you know, I consistently enjoy spending time working with these individuals. But what I brought to the table was just in my view, a higher level of customer service, of expecting more than what the sector generally provides was my goal. I wanted to bring us up to a standard that we could all be proud of. And it's not to say that we're not proud of the standard that we were at, but I wanted to kind of bring the sector to a level where corporates would be looking at that going, well, they provide the same level of services as we're getting currently, but at a lesser fee or whatever the situation might be. So that was my kind of thing. Also bringing a corporate thinking to it. Travel's moved on an awful lot. And I think the charity sector is very much still a handshake, we're all nice people kind of mentality, because that's who they are. and just trying to make them understand that travel isn't a friend's business, it's a business, and that we need to hold each other accountable and make it more professional, and bring that element to the business without losing the core root of what each kind of party is trying to achieve.
And I understand you've got some quite complex accounts.
Yeah, so some of them, I've got some global accounts, which is very complex because you have language barriers, you have time barriers. You've also got cultural barriers, which in the corporate space, again, I found previously much less of a situation. PAs all around the world seem to work exactly the same way, whereas project managers for a charity in the UK or the US probably work quite similar. But if you start working around the project manager in Africa, he's dealing with very different scenarios, and his priorities are very much different, and his challenges on a day-to-day basis are very different. And so you have to understand those cultural differences and those challenges. And that was a big learning curve for me, and trying to come up with ways to think differently about how we could achieve the same result, but for those individuals who had very different complex requirements. Things like West Africa trying to get internet, great saying you've got a mobile app that you can book on or you can communicate with, but if there's no internet, it's a moot point. So then how do we get around that? How do we make that service still available to that individual while still having the reality of not being able to, pop on the internet on your mobile phone on the train like we all are so used to? So it's things like that that's quite complex, and coming up with outside the box thinking, and also driving the business to think outside the box, not say, well, this is what we provide, but saying, okay, well, that's what we provide, great, for what we know, but how do we provide something for people that are working in very different circumstances, and making the business think about it and come up with solutions. And I'm very grateful to work in an organization that is willing to think about the customer on an individual basis and go, well, actually, yes, that might work for the bulk of our customers, but this one customer, this solution doesn't work, and let's come up with a way of doing it differently. And sometimes it's been to our detriment, don't get me wrong. We've got some customers that have got 50 different processes, and the operations team have a nightmare trying to establish this is the process for you and this is the process for you. But it just speaks to how we work and how we're willing to adapt to our customers. So that element I found quite complex. And then the university sector, blimey, every single university seems to work slightly different, and every single department within every single university also then wants to work slightly different. So managing that from a procurement perspective was challenging, because you're trying to say, well, someone make a decision. Is it mandated? Is it not mandated? Can they book this or can they not book this? Do they have to approve? Do they not have to approve? And in the corporate space, it's the FCO goes, no expenses are being paid. You have to use these guys. Get on with it. You can't book outside of policy. Get on with it. But in the university space, it seems to be but he's a really important lecturer. So on this occasion, and so it's very difficult to manage that and trying to keep that within the constraints, because on the quarterly review or the yearly review, they're going to go, oh, how has that been booked? And you're like, here's the email I got from you saying, yeah, it's going okay. So it's that element that I found quite complex, and coming up with solutions that meet all of those different needs all of the time is a challenge. And getting people of decision-making capability into a room as a travel provider for university sector, I find very, very difficult, because it's one of their biggest spends, yet it's priority-wise, it's generally quite low down. So trying to drive those, C and B level conversations to say, look, we need to speak to the person that can make a decision, because this is affecting a large portion of, your business as a result. And that's complex in itself, because there's a lot of politics that go with that in terms of who you can just approach and who you need an introduction to. And there were often times where I was trying to get hold of Boris Johnson himself, never mind someone within the university. But there you go.
Speak to Boris at the moment. And how have things changed for you personally and for the company in the pandemic?
So drastically, it's changed. We were so used to dealing with the large amounts of transactions. We're very transaction heavy. We are branching into, and I say branching into, we've developed our own online booking tool, but it's kind of gaining momentum. historically, that means that we've got a lot of people phoning, a lot of people emailing, lots of manual work. And so as a result, we had lots of staff having to do all that manual work and try and meet SLAs. Unfortunately, we've had to make redundancies, we've had to use furlough schemes, and it's great for the people that have been on furlough, because we've just been to Turkey. The hotel that we were at was closing because nobody was coming out there, and those people all were just like, well, we've been fired. So to me, hearing that, I was like, God, you know, I've just been paid near enough 6 months to sit at home, because we're in a position to do that, and we sometimes forget how lucky we are and how privileged we are to do that. So for me, that was a real stark reminder of that. But what it does mean is the people that have had to stay have had to work remarkably hard to, one, keep up with, you know, demand, because we didn't know what the income was going to be. So we've reduced our numbers massively. We've lost really dear friends that have worked, you know, a long, long time. We had a lot of staff that came from a previous provider to this business when it started. So those people have known each other 20 plus years, and to suddenly have them pop up on LinkedIn with a green little logo next to their names, really heartbreaking. So that's been difficult. It's been a challenge mentally, not just not having a job, but still keeping your job while friends and family have lost theirs is also difficult. But from a business perspective, I think the business is doing well. We're financially strong, which is really, you know, encouraging from our perspective, to know that we're still going to be here. There's some major changes within the sector. You know, SCA going was a real shock. We've all either worked there or know someone that's worked there, so that was a real big, and it leaves a big gap in the market. So that's a change. But just the level of conversation you're having. Historically, we're talking about people, you know, spending a few £1 million on travel and how that's going to work, and helping them with budgeting for next year, and, you know, adjusting policies based on behaviors we've just had. And now it's like, we don't know, Gary. I don't know. Every week you call me, every month you call me, and I don't know what else to say other than what I've been up to. But we're not traveling. We can't even go to office, so we're not going to be going anywhere internationally for some time. So that's a big change.
It's a tough time, and I hope that winning the award brought some positivity and some joy to your job, and gave you some motivation to keep on going. And,
yeah, absolutely.
And to the company too. So congratulations again. It's been lovely talking to you.
Thank you very much.
I hope you can cope with the next week of your quarantine, and then. And I hope that after that you're not going straight into lockdown, which would be unfortunate. But yeah, let's hope not. Well, take care, and
thank you very much
again. It's been great speaking to you. Thanks, Gary.
Thanks, Bev.
Bye.
Bye.